It's interesting how you talk about, for one, it's, hey, I have this avenue to make cash, right? It makes some coin,
Mhm.
but there's going to be a huge sacrifice. Looking at, kind of what your plan for your life was, right? You talked about, you're going to marry your high school sweetheart after school. You're going to be starting this young family. That leads me into my next subject about sacrifice, right? You talked
Mm.
about it with your family as well when you were a kid, and you totally didn't understand it when you were younger, which none of us do. But I think one of the biggest and most not meaningful, but what's the word I'm looking for? Intelligent sacrifices that you can make is just living within your means, right? Which costs nothing. I think arguably, and we'll definitely get into kind of the tricks and kind of definitely how you can help, and you've helped me too. But
Mhm.
just living within your means is something I feel like people fail the most when it comes to money. And I mean, a lot of things you can talk about diet and health and everything, but money, just like I said, living within your means is probably your best weapon as far as building wealth. And I feel like people don't even do that most of the time.
No, I mean, there's been about a
Right away.
thousand. There's been about 1,000 studies that have been done and redone and done again that show somewhere, depending on the whatever the pool of people that are being surveyed, like somewhere between 75 and 80% of people are living paycheck to paycheck, regardless of income level. And the way
Right.
I articulate that to clients when we're having conversations about this stuff is, do you understand what that means? Like, that means that
Mm-hmm.
7 or 8 out of 10 people that you work with or know or that are in your social circles, if they missed one paycheck, could
Yeah.
not pay the next 15 days worth of bills,
Yeah. I,
which is
yeah.
it's insane, right? When you say that, but that
Yeah.
is functionally, and there, everybody that's listening to this for sure right now, instantaneously there's a feeling, bubbling
Yeah.
up underneath your right rib bone, right? That,
Mm-hmm.
oops, yeah, that's actually true, right? So,
I remember, yeah, when I first got into the trade, right, I was 21 and it took me a year to get in. I got into this 5-year union electrical apprenticeship. And I remember I was like 2 months in. So I'm the guy, I have no experience. I'm super green. Whenever somebody needs to take the trash out on the construction side, I'm that guy, right? I have no
yep.
experience. So I'm doing the worst work on every construction job. And there was a guy that was about 5 or 6 years older than me, skinny white guy, right? So I related. He was a cool guy, right? I relate a lot to that. But he had just turned out, which means he just became a journeyman, wasn't an apprentice anymore, and he like immediately went into being a foreman, right? Which you get the pay raise, now you're running guys. And I remember looking at that, and then it was, I was like, man, that guy's killing it, dude. I hope to be
Oh
that.
yeah.
2 weeks later, I'm in his truck and we're going to pick up lunch. It was like we were working a Saturday or something, and I was just sitting in the back seat as the guy that takes out the trash. I'm just happy to be with the group. You know what I mean? I'm that guy, like just stoked to
Yep.
be going to lunch with them. And he's talking. He's like, "Yeah, man, I don't know how I'm gonna make rent. It's gonna be tight." And man, me and my girlfriend, we went to Disneyland, and oh man, we spent like $500 at Disneyland. Oh man, I don't know how I'm gonna make it. And I just remember thinking,
Oh.
because to me, when you're 21 and the guy's a foreman, it's like that guy's making all the money, right? Obviously,
Mm-hmm.
I was younger, and you can make more money. But I'm thinking in my head, that guy's making all the money, and he's barely getting by. And that really, and I've met the guy since, but and it just like, and you meet so many people. The more you climb up the ladder, it doesn't make sense. No matter how
Oh.
much money they make, you can always spend more of it.
I got two quick ones that'll just blow people away, right? Because everybody thinks that all I need to do is make more money and it'll fix my financial situation, right? That's kind
Mm-hmm.
of, especially in Southern California. Oh my gosh. It's like,
Really?
oh yeah. Well, because this is the land of income, right? I mean, here, Silicon Valley, Upper New
Sure.
England, and New York, like that's where you go if you want to make money, right?
Yeah.
Not if you want to live in a cheap place that's well run,
Yeah.
right?
That's yeah. Yeah. That's
um,
valid. Valid.
but so like I have these two experiences I had. Yeah, both of them were relatively early in my career, probably in the first 5 years. One, I drive all the way out to like the top of the hill to Hunka Canyon, like
Mm-hmm.
beautiful, beautiful hillside house that looks down kind of towards the Palisades and Malibu. And it's one of
Mm-hmm.
those houses where you drive up to the gate and you have to, push a button and
Right. Yeah.
who
Yeah.
is this, like, and then you come in and and
Right.
all you see is like the roof line of the house, which means the rest of the house is cascading down the hill looking at the
Mm-hmm.
ocean, right? So right off the bat, you're like, this is like the world that I've never been a part of.
Yeah.
Right. And so I sit down and I'm having this first interview with this prospective client, and it's a husband and wife. They both owned independent graphic design firms. They worked with basically Hollywood movie industry, and they were like the two leading graphic design companies in that industry. And then they created a power marriage. Right.
Yeah. Right.
So they have the two best companies, and they decide to get married and run these companies kind of collectively.
Right, yeah.
And I'm reviewing, kind of doing basic financial review. We're talking about what we do, and they're kind of interviewing me. And part of that first conversation, they had some tax questions, and they slid their tax return across the table to me. And they had $2.2 million of income for the previous year's tax return, like net income to their household, which means their business has probably grossed like $5 or $6 or $7 million or whatever for the year.
Sure.
And I remember thinking, wow, this is strange. Number one, that they have this much income. And then about 30 minutes later, when I figured out they had $60,000 in total savings, total.
Wow.
Investments, cash, etc., and millions of dollars of debt, right? I drove from that meeting down the hill out of the beautiful place down into the doldrums of the valley, right? Like God knows where, like somewhere between Simi and Van Nuys, like cross streets, bungalow houses built in the 1920s, and met with this couple, single breadwinner, skilled labor, 70 grand a year, been working at a company for 25 years. Almost $1 million in total net worth, paid off house. And I just had this weird day where it was like super, super rich, or what everybody would think is super, super rich, right? Down to like average valley family. And guess what? One of them's rich and one of them isn't, right? Because income isn't net worth, right? Net worth is savings, investments, and financial freedom.
Wow.
Which is what most people want someday.
What a cool, first of all, what a day that you had to have that on the same day. Do you know what I mean? Like,
if I only didn't have to sit in 4 hours of traffic, it would have been the best day ever. Right. But
yeah, but I just, to see that the guy, oh my gosh, not satisfying, because I'm not hating on people that do well and have a big income. Right. I was about to say the rich, but clearly those people, quote, aren't the rich, but I mean, they're doing very well, and they're doing a lot better than I am. But if you enjoyed this content, be sure to check out the Standing Still podcast, both here on YouTube and wherever else you listen to podcasts.